15.
Hi, welcome back to Healthy Ambitions. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I'm here with Dr. Patrick McMullin today, retired psychologist, and not so retired anymore. I think I'm kind of pulling you back in, but I'm going to talk a little bit about, we talked about your responsibility and your quality of life, and sort of, as a doctor, that's really tough because I see all the time people not taking responsibility for their health care, and so I think that's just a very timely topic. And so you were just talking about how you used to give talks a lot and sort of had a base to grow from.
Right.
So I'm just going to let you kind of run with that.
I early on knew that I was going to be giving a lot of talks. And so I knew it was going to be necessary to have a base to work out of. And but I also knew that personally. I really felt that that I needed a personal base. I needed to know what that base was. And so oftentimes I get called into elementary schools and high schools to talk to the kids, and so I would talk about this sort of responsibility, knowing that they weren't even of the age yet where
Can comprehend responsibility.
exactly. You know, a lot of kids feel entitled. A lot of kids feel left out, quite honestly. And I've always been going to write a book called "Oh God, I'm Only Average," because that's just how a lot of people feel. And but nobody has to be average, and nobody really is average. There's something very unique and special about each one of us. And so anyway, in that base, I started out, and I can remember it well, even though it was 40 years ago or close to it. What I used was that we have to know ourselves, accept ourselves, like ourselves, and love ourselves. None of which is egotistical, and that's another reason why some people shy away from that sort of thing.
You don't want to have that big ego, but you want to care about yourself.
But you want to have a healthy one. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not like we don't have an ego. We have one, all of us, and it exists. And so it needs to develop just like everything else. And you know, if I put my arm down here like this and I keep it here like this, how long is it going to take before that's unusable? You know,
circulation's gonna.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Absolutely. And everything else is the same. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to use our brain, which is really it contains everything that this body needs. And so, how do we know ourselves? Well, we need to pay attention. When we have experiences, and that's really how you get to know yourself, when we have experiences, we need to assess those experiences. We should always be taking time each day to assess experiences that we've had. Why, when I walked in front of this particular person, did I feel a little bit tense, a little bit defensive? And
the energy, what was that?
Yeah, and why with this person did I just want to reach out and hug her or him? Some people are very accessible because they're comfortable in their skin. Other people are not, and so consequently, what happens is we have a vision of ourselves that we would very much like to portray. Let's put it that way. We dress for the part, we walk for the part, we talk for the part, and so on and so on. But life is not a play. It is deadly serious at times. And I just received an email from an old student of mine who said, with all the animosity running around the world, and it's a small world, he said, your words just have started to haunt me, because I talked about that in my classes all the time, that you have got to take time, assess your experiences and so on. Why is it and how is it that two people can stand on a street corner, see a car accident that's not pleasant to see, one person feels this way and one person feels that way.
And a completely different
Very
retelling
different.
of what they saw.
Absolutely right. And yet they saw the same thing. So, you know, the only thing you can come up with is one's a bit more developed than the other one, or maybe a lot more developed. You know, as I said, a birthday will not make the brain function better. Albert Einstein, take him and take anybody else that you might know. Albert Einstein worked on problems. He did not know the outcome. That's why he worked on the problems. And that's why he accessed so much more of his brain than the rest of us. Because we tend to think about things that we've already experienced. It's a narcissistic kind of condition.
Your frame of reference, that's
and
all
safe.
you have. Yeah.
And safe.
Yeah.
You know, I always love it. People go on vacation, you know, and next year they go to the same place because they had such a wonderful time. And the second time, well, it rained, you know, or whatever the case might be. Well, not so much fun this year. Maybe try something new. And the way that we develop our senses, which is all part of our development, is by doing different things at different times, and not. You know, if you drive the same roads to work, you're probably 25% more likely to get cancer than your neighbor, because you're putting your body in neutral. Your body is now accessible to the things that we have in it that can come and get us. Some of it's just not good, and so get new experiences. Take different roads to work. Eat in different places.
I think that was interesting. You mentioned the negative impact too, because sometimes I think about when people ask me the people who've been most influential in my life. Sometimes it's been the people who've been the meanest or the hardest on me that have made the most impact. And those are, sometimes you said the bad experience, the bad vacation, it prompts you to take a different route the next year or do something different. So you have to be kind of in tune to the bad stuff too, I guess.
I think you have to be very in tune to the bad stuff, because we can get used to the bad stuff and live with it and actually get comfortable with it, believe it or not. And
people do that all the time.
All the time.
And get depressed and they get in a rut.
That's right. And but poor me, now somebody ought to give me sympathy. Look at me, I'm just sick. Well, there you go.
That's a comfortable role to play too.
It's a very
I find
comfortable.
That with patients a
Yep.
lot.
Very, very comfortable role, and that's why I'm saying we have some real responsibility when it comes to our development. And as I say, it's not just knowing ourselves and having experiences. Understand that the experiences can be very limited in terms of quality if we're not to a certain point in our lives, and so usually that takes two. Mm-hmm. We need someone who does those things with us.
Bounce off of too and balance.
Yes.
Hey, they're saying a little break, so let's take a little break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some more about taking responsibility for your own feelings and life and well-being. So hang tight and we'll be right back.